No, no, we're actually recording now. So for this, um, I'm gonna close out of Discord just so we could talk, because I want to get notifications like crazy, and we're just gonna entirely focus on what we're doing right now. Okay?
Yeah, I see it says recording cloud. There's like a cloud thing on the
Yeah. It's recording cloud now. So
is that a Zoom feature?
that's a Zoom feature that I have enabled because I have a Zoom license account.
Oh, you got
the I have a Zoom license account, so that's why.
So here's a question. You guys have said yesterday. So how do you connect to another computer? So if I'm working at a company, I would assume that the computers are enabled, but to do the RDP. But if they're not, we would enable that.
Yes.
In order for me to connect to your computer, I either need your IP address or your computer name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's the issue. The guy yesterday, when he asked me, he says, well, how would you connect? So if I don't know how would I ask the person who's not technically savvy, how do I get the information for their computer? Suppose the guy goes, I don't know what an IP address is, and I don't know what my computer name is. So how would I connect to that guy's computer if I don't know his computer name?
You don't need to know his computer name.
Oh, okay.
All you care about is his first and last name, and usually the computer name is set up that way with the first letter of their name followed by their last name. So if you know what their name is, then you could search on Active Directory on the computer section with their name and connect to that computer. Usually a computer is associated with the user with their name. Some companies associate it with their name, and then other companies, they don't use name conventions. They don't put names on them. They might have something else. Like usually the people that work in IT, they have names on their computers. Typically, from my understanding, unless they're very, very disorganized, and they won't have a name on it. But usually, there's a name associated with a person's computer if they're working from home, trying to remote into a computer. Like for example, my computer name is K Apollinario. Apollinario is my last name, right? So obviously Kevin Apollinario, K Apollinario. So that's how I know that's my computer, if that makes sense, because it would be assigned with a username on it. Usually, it's a username convention. Usually set up with a username. So whatever your username is, that will be the computer name, typically in an environment. But some companies are very disorganized, and they don't put a name on it. So in order for you to figure that out, you need to have some sort of inventory application that tells you the name of the computer. So like some companies have SSCM, some companies use Ivanti, some companies use some sort of tracking software application that tells you the name of the computer. So if you know, I'm not trying to get too technical with this. I'm not trying to confuse you, because I don't want to confuse you. But usually the name's associated with their username on a computer. And if you don't know the name of their computer, typically you could just ask for help. Just find out what the computer did. Ask a coworker. A lot of these companies now, since you're working from home, you get to use Zoom, or you get to use Slack or Zoom or Teams. So you could literally just send a message to someone in your team using the Microsoft Teams, and you chat like, oh, what's his computer name? It might be desktop 555 or whatever. You don't know what it is. So you have to ask for help, because you may not know what the computer name is. But once you have the computer name, and once you have the computer name, all you literally got to do is go into that computer and make sure remote desktop is enabled. And I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay.
So, but if they're not, if their remote desktop is not enabled, then they can't do RDP, right? They can't do it. If it's not enabled on their computer, we can't connect.
No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. Like no matter how many, they could try as much as they want. It's not going to work. Unfortunately, it's just not going to work. So literally,
I have to walk them through it. You're saying?
No. You enable it for them. So you will probably have access to connect to it, because all the admins can connect remotely to the user's computer. So you don't even got to worry about that. All you literally got to worry is enabling it for the user.
Oh.
So you don't do it on their computer. You do it on the computer they're trying to connect to. So whatever the name of the computer is, you got to just enable it for them, if that makes sense. Yeah. So literally all you got to do is you go into like the C drive, like the C Explorer, right?
Yeah.
And then So remember I was asking you how to add a computer to a domain, remember?
Yep.
You go to C Explorer and you literally right click on this PC and you hit properties, right? And then you hit change settings, and then you could go into here and then change the domain, right? Like add it to like Donish.com, Kevtech.com, Eddie.com, right?
Right.
And you don't worry about this. This is nothing. This is to add a computer to a domain. We're not trying to add a computer to a domain. Right now, we're trying to enable remote services, right? So literally all you got to do is you click the remote tabs right here. And it says, see, allow connections for this computer. You got to allow it. And then you select the user and then you add them in here. So whoever the person is in the company, you put their name in here, you hit okay, and apply. And that's it. That's all you worry about as a person that works in IT. You do manage, right? So when you do manage, you have all these tabs right over here, right? There's this one tab that's like super duper important. This is everywhere in IT. I'm just letting you know this is everywhere in IT, not just what I'm mentioning today. So you go into groups, and then there's the thing called remote desktop users. Read it. Look what it says.
Yeah.
Members in this group are granted the right to log in remotely. So if this person is not part of this group, they cannot remote into the computer. No matter how hard they try, it's not going to work. Don't worry about the firewall stuff. Don't worry about the ports. Don't worry about any of that. This is the group you care about. So if you have an IT manager, like he asks you a question and he says a user cannot remote into their computer, your answer, you know what your answer will be? Your answer is like, are they part of remote desktop groups? That would be your answer. That would be you tell that to a manager, like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's saying. He knows what he's talking about. So like if someone, like these are the two things you say, like, are users trying to remote into a computer? Are they part of a remote desktop? And are they on VPN? Those two things you say to a manager, like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. So like, how are they set up? Are they using VPN? Are they part of the remote group? You know, like those two things. If you say those two things, the manager's gonna be like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. He actually understands what he's saying, you know? So does this make sense?
Yeah, but so you guys, we were doing, I was sitting in on a video where I think I had to leave 30 minutes early, or I got there 30 minutes late. Mm-hmm. And if it was a question regarding the VPN, so if they're at home, to connect, they need VPN, right, for security, right? From their home to the business.
Yeah. So there are two ways to log in to your computer at the office. Use Citrix, the website. So you go into a company website, you log in, and you go to your desktop. That's one way. The second way is using VPN. So all you got to do is you click on your VPN on the bottom right-hand side. I don't have it on this, by the way. It's not installed on this, but on the bottom right-hand side, you have an app called Cisco AnyConnect. So a lot of these companies use Cisco AnyConnect, right? I have a video on this, by the way. So you go to Cisco AnyConnect.
I think I watched your video on this. Yeah.
So it looks like something like this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, I see.
I have to zoom in a little bit, but something like this, and then you connect to it. And when you connect to it, it asks for your username and password. You log into that, and then when you log in, it's gonna say connected, right? It's gonna say connected, and then what you do is you don't make it complicated. You tell the user, go to the start menu. Can you type remote desktop? And then you're like, yes. And can you put your computer name? And then you put your computer name, and then you hit connect. And that's it. That's all you got to do. And then when you hit connect, it's going to ask for their username and password again. They put the username and password again, and they're able to log in. And that's it. That's all you worry about. That's all you care about. So you care about remote desktop, trying to help them connect, and then make sure that they're part of remote desktop groups. If they're not part of the group, they cannot connect no matter how many times they try, it's not going to work because they have to be part of that group. That's a really important group. It does a lot, you know, so it's not going to work. If you're part of that group by default, Helpdesk is part of that group already. So you could just log in and do it for them on their computer. By default, like all people that work in IT, they're able to remote into other people's computers that have company computers. By default, set up that way. So you can help them troubleshoot it and stuff like that.
Right,
Does that make sense?
How did you do that again? You went to this piece. Did you go to this PC?
Yep. So I went into this
Right
PC.
click?
Yep. I hit manage.
Right.
So this one's a little different. It's not properties, it's manage. And then you go into groups, right? So it's like local users and groups.
Yeah.
You go into groups, and then there's this thing called remote desktop users. So there's there's a lot of different groups here. By default, in here, right? By default, remote desktop groups, there's going to be a group going to be called local admin, local domain admin, like the domain admin, like whatever, like JavaScriptShare.com, Kevtech.com. Local domain admin will be added in this group by default. So you'll be the help desk, and you'll be in this group already, and you'll be able to remote in and add them to it as well, add the user to it. So that's what, that's just all you care about is remote desktop users. So like I said before, if you go to a job interview, you want to ask them, are they on VPN? Are they part of remote desktop groups? Like it's called remote desktop groups. So are they part of remote desktop groups? Because otherwise they can't connect to it,
Right.
That's basically, and are they connected to VPN? What VPN are they using? Are they using Cisco, whatever, are they So that's what you would say. Like if you go to a job interview and they ask you like, are users having an issue with remote desktop? And then you say, are they part of remote desktop groups? Are they part of it? And like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they're not. Okay, so I have to add them to it. And ask you, how do you add them to it? This would be like a hypothetical question. How do you add them to it? And like, you go into computer management and you add them in it. You add them to the group called remote desktop. So there's more than one way to get into this. So look, if you go into this PC, you hit manage, right? And then the other way is if you just go to the start menu, like this is the easiest way. And you type computer, and you type computer management, and it's the same thing. Look at this; it's right here.
Okay.
Same thing. Much easier. So much easier. You don't even gotta right click on this and hit manage, or you just type it in. So you just type computer management.
Yeah.
And then it's right there. And there's the users right here. Don't worry about this. It's groups you worry about. So remote desktop users, are they part of that group? That's the thing you want to worry about. That's the only thing you worry about.
Am I overcomplicating it by saying, like, so this is another question. Do I have to get approval to add that person to the remote desktop user group?
If it's their computer, no.
Oh.
If it's a server, or you're not gonna do that on the server. Oh. If it's a server or another computer, you don't do that. You're not allowed to do that. Like you have to get approval for that. Right. Obviously, if it's their personal like work computer, yeah, they have to be part of that group. If they're not part of that group, they can't remote in. It's not gonna work. No matter how hard you try, it's not gonna work, man. It's not. You go on a job interview, they're gonna ask you, is this computer on the domain or not? And then you're like, I don't know, right? You don't say I don't know. You click on other user. You know it's in the domain because this is signed into Kevtech, right? So now if you want to log in as a local user, all you do is hit the / like you said. See, now it changes the name to the local computer name. Now it's not on a domain anymore. Now it's actually local. So then you just put the administrator password and log in, and that's it. That's all you got to do. That's all you care about.
Backspace twice, and it's going to change to Kevtech.
No.
Kevtech is a domain?
Kevtech's domain for this one, yeah, because I added this computer to a domain already.
All right.
Or it's /. That's it. Just /. No 2 slashes, no 3. Just /. That's it. And then you just log into it.
Yeah.
So,
I once saw someone online do .. I was like, what the hell? What is that?
No, you don't do that. See how I'm logged in right now? And I'm logged in right now, right? And then if you go here, and you right click and go to properties, I'm on a domain right now, but I'm logged in locally right now. I'm on a local account right now. I'm not I'm not logged in right now as in the domain account. Right now I'm locally account. So I'm gonna hit sign out. I'm gonna right click on it.
All right.
I'm gonna sign out again. Cause my local account has no password on it. See, it says user on it, right? This is the local account. So I literally just press enter, and I could just log back into it. But this is my local account. Now, if you're gonna sign into a domain account, obviously it's not the same thing. So obviously you go back into other users, and then you log in with whatever your domain account is, which your domain account is whatever is on Active Directory users and computers. So it's not the same thing. It's a local account, domain account are two separate things. Local account is whatever locally is on the computer, and domain account or a user account on the domain is an account on the domain's Kevtech. This is two separate things.
Do they give the user both accounts, a local and a domain account?
No, just one. One account. For IT, you have two accounts. You have your IT account for domain, and you have your local account, which is like an admin account. So you could just log in case you ever have to troubleshoot a computer. You can't log in with your, like, for example, if this computer is down, like this computer is not working, like for example, the user can't log in because the domain is down. You could still log in locally if you log in locally with the local admin account as a help desk guy. So like if they can't log in at all, then it's because their domain is down or something happened to this computer that's no longer part of the domain, if that makes sense. What you do is you go into C Explorer, right?
Yeah.
You right click on this PC, you go into properties, and you're doing the opposite. Instead of adding a computer to a domain, you're removing it and re-adding it again because it's messed up now. So you go into change settings, you go into change, you go into work group, and you're gonna call it work group, right? And then you're gonna hit OK. And then it's gonna kick you out of it. So now it's not gonna be in the domain anymore. You're about to see right now. I'm just doing the opposite right now.
You're forcing it to.
I'm forcing it to get out of the domain.
Be in a domain and a work group at the same time, right?
No, you can't.
Okay. So
domain is whatever your company is, just jobskillshare.com, kevtech.com. So say now because it's kevtech.com domain, it's asking for a password. Some sort of password from somebody. So I'm going to do the help desk password because I'm trying to get rid of it. You know, I'm trying to remove it from the domain. So let's see if this works. It might work. It may not work. We'll see. There we go. So every time when you change the computer name or you do a domain or work group, it's going to make you restart. So you just restart right now. All right. So I'm going to, while that's restarted, I'm going to open up this other one. So you see, if you notice, it literally just logged me in as user. Like there's no domain, no nothing. Usually there's a login page for a domain. Yeah. So now it's a regular local account. I'm just trying to show you how it looks like, you know, like visually, so you don't get confused with it, you know, because it gets confusing. Because then you can't tell if a computer's on a domain or not, right? It gets confusing a little bit, right? Yeah. So what you do is, let me see, this lets me open this. This has no computer on it. So what you do is you go back in here. I'm gonna do ping kevtech.com. It sees kevtech.com, which is right over here on the left-hand side. Now I'm gonna reverse it again, and I'm gonna add it back to the domain.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go back to C Explorer, this PC. I'm going to right click on this PC. I'm going to hit property. So all you care about is this. All you care about is C Explorer. Yeah. Right click on this PC and properties. Add a computer to domain, because this is going to be a question, by the way. You go to job interview, this might be a question. And then you go into change settings, change, and then you put it back on the domain. So it's going to be kevtech.com. And it should work. So you do help desk. It should let me in. If not, I'm probably using the wrong password, but it should let me back in. See? Yep, that worked. Then every time you do something there, you always got to restart. So it's going to make you restart. And how do you confirm that it's on the domain? You go into your Active Directory, you refresh it, and it should show up. Desktop 1 right there. There we go. Now you know it's on a domain again. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, but you were saying that there might be some sort of inventory software that would tell me who has what computer.
Yeah, the companies will have that. All the companies have that. We don't have that here. I can't show you this here, but companies have that.
But you had mentioned something about Active. So is there a way to go to the Active Directory and see who's assigned to that computer or no?
Yes, you can. So like if you go on this computer and you I'm like clicking it wrong. And if you right click on it and you go into properties, some of these computers have notes on them. It says description. It might say like Nancy's PC.
Okay.
It might say Kevin's PC, Donish's PC. Then you know it's assigned to that person. Usually there's like notes on it. Okay. Just like security groups, there's usually notes on everything. So there's notes on everything. So like if you right click on this PC and you go into properties, and there might be notes right here, and they might say something like, this computer belongs to Nancy, this computer belongs to Trevor, whatever, you know. It might say something here.
Can we go through users and right click users and then property and then look there and see if there's notes?
No, they won't do that. In an IT environment, they will not do that. In an IT environment, they'll have something like, in description, they'll have something like account created because of ticket because of incident ticket 555 or whatever. Like they'll have like a ticket number in the description, and they say this account has been created for a consultant because of this ticket 55555 666 whatever, you know.
Like I want to see if the computer's turned on, right? So I would ping it, right? I would ping their IP address.
Yeah.
But let's say, you know, there's an option to turn off the ping, the ICMP, right? You can turn off.
There is, but you don't have to worry.
I'm getting too complicated.
You don't got to worry about that. That's too
just
complicated.
Say I would ping it.
Just ping it, yes.
Now, suppose they say, okay, suppose you can't ping it. What do you think the problem is? I can say, well, maybe the computer's turned off.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Maybe it fell off the domain.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But I don't.
Or maybe firewall is blocking it.
Oh.
Okay. You know, those are the three things you could say.
Okay.
And then, oh, this guy knows firewall. Oh, wow. You know. Yeah. You know, because that is firewall. So if you go in here, you know, you go into firewall settings. See, it says the domain networks. Like if I start turning things on here, I can't do anything on this. Like it won't let me add it to the domain. It won't let me do anything. Just letting you know right now. It's just not gonna work. So that's something that you might be, you know, you might care about, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So
firewall fell off domain. Thank you.
I'm trying to do desktop 1 and I'm trying to see the auto sign into it. Now it works. Look at that. Now it works. I turned that off. Now it works.
Where is it? I don't see it.
Right here. Look. I see the auto sign to desktop 1 from the server. So now what you do is if you're a tech, right? If you work IT, it's like, say for example, someone needs a file and they can't download it because it's blocked by proxy, or it's blocked by firewall, or it's blocked because of the network team. They can't download it, or they can't. Sometimes you can't even run the file logged in as them, or sometimes you can't. Sometimes they have a request. Like this sounds silly. This happens to me in my job, by the way. Yeah. They have a request where they can't download pictures from Dropbox because it's blocked for them. Dropbox is blocked for them. Dropbox, you know, the app Dropbox, you can put files in there, and they want to download pictures from like a law firm, right? Like a company, like a law firm. And they have a bunch of pictures, but when they go to Dropbox to click on it, it's blocked, right? It doesn't work for them because by network team will block Dropbox because they don't want them doing that, right? So what you would do is you go into Dropbox.com and you download it for them. And then what you do is you go into their user account, users, and you look for the name of the person. So if it's whoever it is, like Jay Smith, for example, you go into downloads and you just copy and paste and throw it in there.
You know, my brain locked up on me. I was like, huh? Okay.
That's why it's better for me to do one-on-one with you and we explain it, you know, like I explain it with you, like, so you understand what I'm doing. So basically what I'm doing is I'm connecting to that one machine or that one desktop. I'm doing C dollar sign and I'm connecting to that machine. If you're doing Helpdesk level 1, you could do this, by the way. Anyone that does Helpdesk level 1 should be able to do this. It might be blocked for your company. It really depends on the company, but most companies allow you to do this. So like if you're at level 1 and you know, when you're level 1, you're very limited to what you could do, right? Yeah. But you have the C dollar sign as a trick. So you could do more stuff on someone's computer. If you want to give them a file or give them something, all you literally got to do is just C dollar sign into it and then just drop the file in there and then you're done with them. That's it. Kevin, can I get a Word document? Can you send me this PDF? I'm like, I'm not going to email you this PDF because there's because sometimes, you know, I'm going to give you another example. Okay. Sometimes you have a PDF, the file that's too big, and you cannot email it to them because the file is too big, right? It's a big file. Yeah. So what you do is I'm going to C dollar sign into your computer and drop the PDF file there. I'm going to give you a hypothetical example, right? A user wants you to download a file, right? The file is a notepad like this one, right? See, this file's a notepad right here, right?
Yeah.
A user wants to download a file and like, Kevin, can you put this file on my desktop? I could do that for you right now, right?
Okay.
So then when you do is you go into C Drive, C Explorer, the yellow folder.
Yeah.
This yellow folder does everything. You know, you could go and add a computer to a domain. You could go to manage with this. You do a bunch of stuff with this.
Okay. /
And then when you do is you do / the name of the computer, the C $, right? You want to find out what their name is. So it's probably Jay Smith or whatever. So this person that's logged in right now is Helpdesk, right? So what you do is you click on users, you click on Helpdesk, and you click on desktop. Now, if you go here, like I'm going to close out everything, this file should show up on their desktop. There we go. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. So, but if that was a program, can you do that too, like an installation program? Or no? Only files.
Only files and pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. But
yeah.
Because you logged into you did / desktop one.
Because that's the name of the computer. Yeah.
You're only at that computer, desktop one.
Yes. Yes.
Now, if you wanted that file to be on all users, all computers, how do you do that?
So that gets a little complicated because that would be like group policy.
Well,
and I can't go. Yeah, that's too much for you. You worry about the C $. So like say for example, a user is VPN to their computer, and they give you a hypothetical. A user's VPN to their computer, and they want you to download a file for them because they can't download it because it's blocked for them, right? And you're like, okay, I'm gonna C $to your. Well, you don't say I'm gonna C $. Right. I'm gonna get on your computer, and I'm gonna put the file there for you. That's the answer you're gonna say. Yeah, I'm gonna go. What's your name of your computer? My computer name is C $. Desktop one, right? Desktop one. Okay. Can I put that file for you in your downloads folder? Is that okay with you? Because most of them download a lot of files, right? You know, like if you're a lawyer, a financial guy, whatever, they usually when they download a bunch of Word documents and stuff like that, right? So I'm gonna put the file on your downloads folder, and then you go into C users, Helpdesk, downloads, and you just drag the file to them. And then can you go to your downloads folder and confirm for me that it's there? Okay. How do you go there? Like you're walking them through it. Can you click the C folder explorer and then click downloads? The file should be there now. Now it's there. For a drive, you're trying to get in here in the local C drive on this computer. You're trying to get in there, basically. That's what you're doing, C $. You're not gonna do anything else but C $. And every job you're gonna do C $, by the way.
The C $, that's their C drive?
Yes. Yes. This is something, I don't know if Donna should show you this, but this is something that you would do a lot in your work. And you got to be careful with this because you could break something. Like you could go in, when you do C $, you have access to all these files here. Users, Windows, program, everything on their computer. So you have to know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, don't touch this. If you know what you're doing, then be careful because you might break something. The C $ is pretty cool, right?
Oh yeah, that was cool as fuck.
that makes your life so much easy as a tech, like doing the C $. And every company allows you to do this. Most companies allow you. Some companies may not allow you to do this because you're Helpdesk, you're level 1, and they don't want you breaking stuff, you know. So you got to be careful with this. Like to troubleshoot it, like this is hypothetical, right? To troubleshoot it, a user can get into the computer, right? You want to ask yourself, can I get into the computer? Like, can I ping the computer? Like, if it doesn't work for the user, can I do it? Like, can I ping to the computer? Like right. The user is trying to connect right here and it doesn't work, right? So you go into CMD and you ping desktop 1 and it works for you, but it doesn't work for them. Yeah. And there's something wrong with their computer. May not be on VPN. Maybe they're not allowed. They're not part of that remote desktop group that we just went over. You know, it could be a lot of different things. So all you care about is ping, IP config, IP release, IP renew. That's all you care about. That's it. Because sometimes a user might call and they may not be able to connect to the computer, right? So before you even like get on their computer, right? Before you even do anything on their computer, can you get on the computer? Can you get on that computer? That's the question you want to ask yourself. Does it work for me? If it doesn't work for me, then the computer's probably off in the office. Someone probably turned it off by accident. Someone probably tripped over and turned it off. You don't know. So can I ping desktop 1? They can't ping it, right? Like you go to their computer and then they can't do anything on it. Obviously, you know, something's not right, you know, because VPN is not on. They're not part of a group, or they can't connect to VPN because our account is locked out. You know, that does happen. Like your account gets locked out if your VPN is if you're trying too many times, you put the wrong password, VPN will lock you out. I don't know if you know that, but VPN will lock you out. So you want to check all those things before you go and give the ticket to a level 2 guy or a server admin or whatever. Like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you giving me this ticket? Did you try pinging it? Did you ping it? You could ping it? Yeah, you did. So why the hell are you giving me this ticket? You know, they get mad at you, you know. Try to avoid all that, you know. That's what it is. So I'll show it on my computer. Look, it's right here. Should be here somewhere. Mail. Right there, like mail. All right. You see my screen?
Yep.
So you go into email accounts, and it's right there. Where's my email? The email that be sending back and forth from my email account. Yeah. So, and then you go to data files. This is where it's located. Look. See users, main user, app data, local, Microsoft. So instead of going into it right here and looking for it, because you could go here, like you go to local C.
Right.
You go to users. You go to
where I get lost here.
Main user, right? You go into app data.
Yeah.
I think it's roaming. Microsoft, Outlook. That's the wrong one. I think it's local. You go to local. Microsoft, Outlook. It's right there. So you gotta go through all of this. Why would you want to go through all this when you could just click here? It's right there.
That was the shortcut you guys showed.
Yeah, that's too much.
You guys did that a few days ago.
Yeah, why would you do that? That's just way too. That's
I
was
getting lost, so I'm glad that you can go get there this way.
I'll let you go, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, you take care and have a good Sunday.
I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna study. I got 4 days of studying to go: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and today.
And we'll talk then. All right.
All right, brother.
I'll be on Discord.
All right,
all right, man. You take care, man. Peace. All right, later. Bye-bye.